Hi, Jess.
Hello.
Thanks so much
Can
for
you hear
being
me?
here. Yeah, I can hear you. Oh
Okay.
my gosh,
Yay!
I
I was
miss
nervous.
you. I'm so used to
I
just
miss you
being in the
too.
same little kitchen and backyard and pool and everything.
I know. Can we
Yeah,
go back,
let's go
please?
back. Let's just go. Let's just go.
Please.
It's
Honestly,
fine.
we need it. It feels like it was a lifetime ago, but also yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, it feels like it was just last week, but it's May.
It's it's home. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm so grateful that you've decided to come on here and you're so open to sharing everything. And like I was talking about before, life happens and there's so many ups and
Mhm.
downs, and you've moved through everything that you're going through so beautifully. So I want to just hand it over to you and give you the chance to share.
Thank you. Yeah, I am. I'm actually really excited to share because I think it's a way to even look at how life does happen and things happen to us sometimes out of our control, and how like the way we work is, in my eyes, it's how you take your power back. It's how you like come back to yourself and make your future what you want. And I think that, so for anyone watching, last year I became a single mom. So my relationship with my son's dad broke down, and I moved back home. I was in the US, moved back home into my mum's spare room. And it's been a real kind of like journey of healing. But what I will say is that a couple of things that I really want to share is that the first initial shock of any loss or breakup or just anything that you weren't really expecting, it's a physical, chemical, spiritual reaction.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing. And so in those early stages of that, it's like, okay, when you're 15 and you're going through your first breakup, you can lie in bed all day and like wallow in it. But when you're a mum and you have, things to do and a job and clients and students and this and everything, like, what are you going to do?
Mhm.
Right. And so it's finding that balance between, of course, feeling through everything and also having the resilience and strength to be able to navigate what you need to do. And I think early on in that process, I was on a meeting with you, Reese, and I just started crying because I was just like trying to hold it all together. And we can't, we're humans.
Yeah.
And we jumped on and did some encoding like that Sunday to release fear. And I always love the techniques. Any of my students know how much I rave about how it changed my life the first time round. But this, I felt entirely different navigating, speaking my truth once we released that fear. And the other really important thing about that phase of my breakup with my ex is that the tools helped me regulate myself enough to feel what I was really feeling and to kind of, you know, it let myself be in that and not run away from it. Old Jess, I think I just would have like gone out or watched TV or done anything but feeling the pain of what I was going through. But because I had the tools to allow my body and my spirit to feel safe within it, I was able to move through it. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I've been able to navigate this in a way that I think is I know that I'm happier now,
Mhm.
and that's because I was able to really sit in those things through a lot of the work we teach, you know.
Mhm. That's so beautiful to hear. I think that, like, in our culture in today's age, we're so used to and kind of even programmed to
Mm-hmm.
numb, like, encouraged to numb. Like, it's okay, just like scroll social media
Right.
or binge out on Netflix or dissociate or run away from it and, do a bunch of things. But you really faced it head on.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw you in person. Like, I saw you in person for like 3 weeks, and there's
Uh-huh.
no escaping. And I remember just thinking, like, you have moved through this so beautifully, so gracefully, been so present for little O, and such an
Right.
amazing mom because, yeah, you're not just moving it through it for you, you're moving through it for him. And
Mm-hmm.
he's learning from
Mm-hmm.
you, and he's going to see in his own life if there's times where he needs to be resilient. Through you being so resilient, he's taking on that resilience too.
I have chills even just hearing that, and just thinking about, you know, we do manifest, and we pass, you know, we manifest our team, we manifest big things because we're always around it and we know what we can do. And so in these moments where, you know, I won't talk about details of what happened, but I will say I was quite shocked at how that plot twist happened in my life. And I think it's coming back to that piece of, you can't always help what goes on, but you can navigate this. But that's very, people say that all the time. You can't help what happens to you, but you can help how you react to it. Okay, great. How? Like, how am I going to do that? And you think, Jess from like a few years back even would have said all the right things, but I wouldn't have had, because I've always been positive and wanted to do the right things. I would have said it all, but I wouldn't have had the know-how of how to move through it. And I've been there, like, you know, I'll share a little story about a time I tapped, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Just will always stay with me. I moved back home, and I moved back to my mum's spare room, which honestly has been the best thing ever. And at the time, there were so many self-judgment things, like, I'm in my 30s, I'm moving back with my mum, I'm a failure, all of these different things coming up. And I'm in the room now, so that's why I'm looking around. And I hadn't bought a bed yet, so there was just a mattress on the floor, and there was no curtains. So there, like, me and Oakley were just like on the floor, just like, we're home, like, we've got this, let's go. And I was jet lagged, so I was up in the night, and, you know, feeling all of those things, like, wow, I'm really here on my mum. I'm in my 30s. I just made a whole career. I just did all this. I'm back doing nothing. And I felt the lack and the fear just kind of like move over me. Like, can I still achieve everything I want to achieve? Is Oakley going to be, like, all of these things? And you know what it's like when you're in that response. It's not even necessarily logical. You know, you're just having a full response.
Yeah.
And I woke up, and because I was jet lagged, I woke up and the moon was shining in, and I just sat on the bed and tapped all the way through it. And I must have been tapping, I don't know, 10 minutes even. And when I woke up in the morning, I felt, I just knew I'd got it.
Wow.
I just knew I'd got it. And one of the reasons I came to Yes Supply originally, because for anyone who's watching doesn't know, I was a student first, was because I used to lay up at night overthinking, like, all the time, and I couldn't get out of this habit of if anything went on in my life, I would overthink, and it would keep me up at night, and it was just like this pattern. And so this would have been a catalyst for no sleeping at all and overthinking, all of that. But I woke up and I felt it hit me, and I just had the right thing to move through it. And that's why I can't stop talking about it, because I'm so grateful. And honestly, like, it makes me think, like, the amount of people we go through a big life change and we don't know how to do those things, and then we're actually stuck in that space for decades sometimes. You know, we see it a lot. So I'm so grateful.
Yes, for sure. I think through anything that we go through, any up and down, any loss, it's important to take that time to grieve. But then many of us, especially if we don't have these tools, we're knowing, okay, I need to move forward, I need to move past, but we don't know how. And so the grieving process could take 5 years, 10 years, the whole rest of someone's life. They're stuck because of something that happened when they could have a whole other life to live. And it's knowing the difference. You know, some people might need more time or less time to grieve, but when you know it's time to move on, having the tools. So I remember you saying before, there's all these things like, yeah, move forward, and we don't know how. So I'd love to hear, what was your process for processing? Like, what was your how did you move the way that you moved?
That's such a good question. So for me, I definitely found, once I found how to come back to my peace, it allowed me to connect with my hope. And I think, like there were times where I felt, you know, kind of hopeless. And I think when we don't have that, that's where we can get really lost. And so there was these two parts of me, the parts having the big reaction, and the part of me that knows everything we teach. that was going,
Yeah.
this is just a natural reaction, just shed it. So I wasn't fighting at the beginning, like the sadness and the anger, wasn't fighting it, because I knew that it was just a natural thing and I could go through it. But going past my reactions allowed me to find my creativity. And I feel like this period of my life has really brought me back to the things that I loved when I was a child. So we have a technique called collapsing anchors, and I kept feeling really, like, I would say the word is like insecure, very insecure that people were unhappy with me, or someone didn't like me, or this, and it was really resurfacing through this process, amongst, as you can imagine, like so many emotions. But that was one that was just like really affecting me, because it was making me like antsy. And so I collapsed anchors on it. I point over there because I was sitting on my bed doing it, which seems to be a pattern with where I do all the techniques. And since I did that, I realized like all of these reactions I was having to minor things were because I wanted everybody to be happy with me, but there was no way I could navigate this in my truth and do the right things and have everyone be happy with me. Like, it just wasn't a possibility. So once I did the work to release that reaction, it just was like a response. What I found was my body didn't really know what to do with the space. So my reactions were protecting me in a way. I think it felt like. So my next stage was like being creative and just like dancing. I went back to dancing. I started writing again. I used to write when I was younger. I haven't done it in years. And I really think that being able to move through the emotion in the ways that I did in the early stages opened up that creation. And I also just let myself like be in it a bit more. Like, we talk about manifestation a lot, you know, in the work that we do. And I didn't know what I wanted. And that was really scary. I was like, I don't know. Everything I thought I was going to have in my future is not happening now. So, and at first I was putting this pressure on myself, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then I was like, hey, why don't you just let yourself chill and work through it all? And so then, and now I'm really at the stage where like I know what I want, and I'm so excited to build this future, but I had to sit in the unknown. And that was very foreign to me as somebody who's had a successful career as a dancer, always known what I've wanted, where I'm going, what I'm doing. To sit in the unknown was really scary. But I would say that my process is like emotional, but not messy.
Yeah.
You know, just like really proper feeling and sitting in the pain, the grief, the loss, the anger, and sitting in it and working through it with all of our tools, and then tapping back into my creativity, and now like back into the manifestation and embodiment of that was like a shedding, and now I get to show up as my future self, you know. But I couldn't force that when I was at the beginning. You know, I had to really move through it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah, you're reminding me of that phrase, like fake it till you make it. And I don't believe in that. Like, you just can't, because people can feel when you're faking it and it doesn't feel good, right? But
Doesn't
you
feel good.
process,
Yeah.
like process it until you make it. Right? Like, you processed, you sat with it, and then it seems like it felt very natural to tap into writing and natural to tap into dance and expression. It wasn't like, okay, I'm just gonna go to dance to distract myself. It's like, I'm gonna go to dance to express myself.
Yeah, that's what it's like, tapping back into my joy and on my terms. But one thing I'll say that really helped me too was having, I keep talking about anchoring, but I guess that really helped me.
It's a good tool.
I I was just like, so, you know, in that beginning stage of my divorce, I was just so like lost, you know. I just didn't really know where I was going and all of those things. And so I kept finding more reasons to believe that I couldn't do it. Right. Because we know how the brain works. So I was really feeling that, like, how am I going to do this? This isn't but my plan, and and I just kept my confirmation bias, and all of the things were just confirming that back to me. And so I started to seek out evidence of like people who have done it on their own, and then anchor in Like, so I anchored in the feelings of like, of course I've got this. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And like imagining that I just knew that for certain. And so I have this anchor that I would anchor in, and I have a smell one too, because I love anchoring with smells. That is like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. Even though it doesn't feel like it right now, because if it wasn't, it wouldn't be happening. Everything is working for me. So I just, once I started to tap into that energy, everything changed. And I'd still have my moments where I'd be like, oh, but this sucks, you know. But then that then allowed me to see, because of the way we know our brain works, that allowed me to see evidence that actually everything was going to be more than okay. It was amazing. And really opened up to, wow, I'm so lucky. Like, look at all this love in my life. Look at my team I work with. Look at this. And my energy just shifted. And I have regularly got, during this whole process, Jess, you look better than ever. You seem better than ever. And I just think it's because I've been doing this work so much, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, just, I want to keep that up even when I'm not going through a hard time.
Yeah. Because you decided you're going to be better than ever, and then you created it.
Literally, yeah. So
amazing. We have so many of our students and community members just sharing beautiful things in the comments. So Rising Monarcha saying, part of manifesting is going back and healing in order to propel yourself forward. You taught me that, Jess. Love you so much. So maybe that's one of your past students.
It's Gabby, I think.
Aw, thank you for sharing that. It says you can have everything you want, not at the same time. I feel like there was another longer one. Oh, and someone else is saying, this is so encouraging. I'm going through separation as well, and I needed to experience your healed energy. Thank you for being so willing to share your story. Oh, see, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, thank you so much for being willing to share your story and help others, because, you know, we've seen some of our students and clients in the past go through this and navigate this, and so many of them have said that the tools in the SFI method have helped them, and it's totally okay. But many people navigate this like very privately, which is totally fine. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people do navigate it very privately, and you know, you go on social media and it's like a highlight reel, and so you kind of feel like, I'm the only one going through this. So the very fact that you're here and you're saying, I went through this, I had moments where I felt like it was impossible or I couldn't do it, and look at me now. I'm better than ever. I know where I'm going, and things are all coming together. You're just being such a beacon of light for so many others.
Thank you. Like, that comment has really inspired me to share too. Like, there was a period of time before I let anybody know on the team, before anything like that, where I was separated, but not like, it was, nothing was official yet. And I remembered I didn't tell anyone. I didn't know where to tell. I didn't even tell my own mom. Like, I just didn't know like who to say these words to, you know, like, how do I say it? And so there was a stage where I really just felt like there was no way. And I'm saying that to say, if that's how you feel, like, it's just not the truth. There is a way, and this gets to be the biggest plot twist in your favor. I promise you. If we can lean in, and we have all of the tools, we have all of the community, and to be able to navigate things and really change your life from that energy.
So you're like a master trainer. You're amazing. You've trained probably at least 100, dozens, if not over 100 people by now, I would say.
Yeah.
And you help so many people through the ups and downs of life, because we know the SFI method, yes, it's a certification, but it's also like a mastermind. It's also like live coaching through what you're going through. So it seems to me, and let's say someone's watching this and they're going through something similar right now, maybe a separation, a breakup, a life change. If you were to teach them in a few steps, here's how you navigate them, here's some tools I would suggest, here's some perspectives I would suggest, what would you say? Let's do a 2-minute class right now.
How can I do that?
We start with a dance party. I know that. And then what?
So just so I get this right, I get this clear, you want me to just kind of like do a 2-minute synopsis of like what I would do to navigate it?
Yeah, if you're teaching someone, they're going through a separation right now, they're going through something similar right now, and we're getting laughing emojis from our dance party, but if someone was like, I'm going through the same thing, step by step, how can I work through this? What tools do you suggest? What shifts, beliefs, ideas, emotions do I need to take in and release? What would you tell them right now?
I love that. So I would say, first of all, just have the most amount of grace with yourself and connect with the fact that however you show up on whatever day, however you feel, whatever's going on, you're enough. You're enough because you woke up. You're enough because your heart's beating. You're enough because you're here. And there is no right or wrong way to navigate anything. So that's the first thing, connecting with your enoughness. The second thing is definitely move your body, because anything, for me personally, this brought up a lot of old wounds that weren't even about my divorce or my ex. It was old stuff from like fear of rejection from school and this and everything. It was just another way to amplify everything. And sometimes it can feel like it's taking over your body and that's just who you are, but it's not. You are actually a spiritual, light, vibrant being in your pain and in your joy. You're not only good when you're joyful, you're good when you're in pain too. So move it out of your body, sing, dance, cry, throw yourself around, do whatever you need to do. And then you need to help your body recognize that this isn't life or death. Because in the moment, that loss, that feeling like everything's changing, you have no control, feels like a lion to your body. And so you have to try and, you can, because it's science, use very simple things to help regulate your body and let you know that even though this is uncomfortable, I am safe. And then from that, like just purging and making yourself feel safe, just gratitude, anchoring in hope and trust, and knowing that you have everything you need to make this the best thing that ever happened to you. And then it's all kind of weaved into one, but definitely those stages. And I would do EFT to move through any uncomfortable emotion that's coming up, tapping. I mean, I feel like I'm going over my 2 minutes now, so I'll just
No, 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 no. It could be.
I'm joking.
This is a process. Yeah. That's okay. Let's hear the tool. So I agree, EFT tapping. I do EFT tapping almost every day. What else?
Yeah, I would say for me, it was really hard to respond to a lot of things as I was kind of working out what I wanted. So I found collapsing anchors very helpful to just give my body the space to connect with what I really want now and not just react. So I used collapsing anchors a lot. I also did use hypnosis to just kind of help me connect with my vision for my future and what I believe I can do. Oh my goodness. I used everything, so it's just so long.
We
did end up having.
We did neural energetic encoding, so releasing the root, I think, is huge for anything.
Yeah, so originally, and I'll be really honest, what was coming up was like, I just felt, it was so funny because it's like, you feel the fear of rejection in a divorce, like it's already happening, like what's the matter? But I felt like I couldn't speak my truth, and Reese did an encoding with me, and we released fear, and then I was just able to really speak my truth after that, and I felt that really strongly. And I think all of the team have jumped in. I think Steph released fear of like insecurity with me too.
That's a good one, big one.
Yeah, where I was just like I didn't want to make decisions from an insecure place. I wanted to make decisions from like a empowered place. So encoding, I mean, that was really fundamental at the start. I think that really shifted how I looked at everything. I even did chaining anchors on something that I have to do but don't necessarily want to do in this process. And so I did chaining anchors about how my body responds to that.
Wow.
And that's really helped, like hugely. Like it feels so light. I can't tell you how light I feel. Even though I'm going through the hardest time, I felt heavier last year and the year before that. Like I genuinely do feel happier, and I think it's because
I see it in you.
gone all in,
I can
right? It's
see it
crazy,
in you.
isn't
I can
it?
see it. Like you have a glow. Like I feel like your face is lifted. Like it's shining
Yeah.
through in your energy too, in your physical.
And it's so like, because of everything that, we do, you do. I mean, honestly, like the team stepped in and everyone helps. The community is everything. But in regards to, yeah, moving through it, it was just listening to my intuition and moving through it accordingly.
Oh, so beautiful. Oh my God. Some people join the ESFI method just for their own healing and to know
Hmm.
these tools for themselves, for their loved ones, for their children, for the communities, for communicating at work, etc., etc. Some people later decide to become coaches, or some people join because they're coaches and they're like, this sounds amazing. I need these tools so I can go deeper with my clients. So join just there. You can just type meet
Come.
live. Come, you're welcome. You can just type meet live and you'll get the invitation for that. Crystal is saying the team is amazing. Do it. Life changing. Truly 100 out of
Oh,
10. I like this.
damn.
I like this grade. 100 out of 10. Thank you, Crystal. Vibrant BF. Amazing. What else? Like, if you could just say anything right now, what would that be?
I
Can just share with
actually
anyone who's
had
listening.
like, and I have a couple
Go
things to share, but one
for it.
add-on just came to
Yeah.
me from what I did. We have a technique called single belief change where we use the, basic coding language of the mind to just kind of give you a synopsis of it, to shift the meaning we add to things, right? And single belief change, I realized that, and I think a lot of people will be able to relate, a lot of my worst came from validation within my relationships, right? So when, that was not coming anymore, I felt like unworthy, honestly. And I see it in a lot of us, right? That's kind of something that we're programmed to find worth in.
Mm-hmm.
So I did single belief change, and in single belief change, you program out a belief. So I programmed out the belief that I need anybody to make me worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And you program in a belief, and you basically swap it with something that you know to be true. So I programmed in the belief that I am worthy because I am, because I'm awake and I'm here. And I did it alongside like the meaning that I know the sun will rise in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really do feel like the sun will rise and I am worthy. Like these
Beautiful.
are two facts. And so if anybody is watching and navigating anything and you don't feel worthy, like it's just an old bit of programming that doesn't exist and in your real life. It doesn't exist in your future. And just as the sun will rise, you are worthy. And all you need to do is teach your brain that. So when I did that, like now I'm so excited to see what's to come, knowing that I've installed this work more and more. And then the only other thing I would say is, yeah, come join us. I'm so grateful for this incredible team. Like, I remember my first job was in a shoe shop. I think I've said this to you, Reese. My first job was in a shoe shop, and the front of the shoe shop was so shiny and beautiful. I was so excited to start working there, and the back, the staff area, was horrible. It was
Oh
like
no.
it was just like dirty, and there was rubbish everywhere,
Oh
and it
my
was all
gosh.
gloomy and dark. Like, and I remember thinking, what? Like, I was so gutted. And I remember was a graduate of Yes Apply, and I joined the team, and I remember thinking, I hope the back end is as shiny as the front.
Yeah.
And it was like like, I mean, it's just like we are the embodiment of the work that we do, to the point that I don't know many other people who work for a company who would have held their trainer or their employee or whoever it is in such a beautiful cocoon to navigate this. So I'm so grateful for this company and this community, because the support has been unreal.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. We have the most beautiful team, and we're so grateful that you're a part of it too.
Yay.
Amazing.
That's good. Me making myself cry.
Yay. Oh, you're so beautiful. Well, this
You
was
are
so much fun. So much
so
fun. I feel
fun.
like there's a part two coming. So
There is.
you'll
We'll do
just have to
it.
message me your schedule and we'll do it
Yeah.
again. I love
Okay.
going live with you.
Thanks, Reese.